The cold Ron always felt back home? Well, that was nothing, absolutely nothing, compared to the real, deep down chill that hit Morinak village that autumn. It all kicked off with this endless weeping rain. Just a soft drizzle at first, but then it ramped up, day after day, week after week, turning into a total downpour. The Gray Fang peaks, usually just sitting there all grand and silent, suddenly became like a giant funnel for angry rivers, making the Morinak River swell up until it just exploded over its banks with a furious roar. And the floodwaters, they were thick with mud and all sorts of junk, just tearing through the valley like some crazy, vengeful ghost. Ron watched from the cottage window, his stomach doing flip-flops, as the fields his dad was so proud of just vanished under this churning brown mess. The animals, usually so calm, were all huddled together, their panicked bleats carried right on the wind. His dad, Theron, who was usually so tough, seemed to shrink with every passing hour, his face just a mask of pure despair as he watched everything he had, their whole life, just melt away right before his eyes. It was heartbreaking. When the water finally pulled back, leaving behind a thick layer of slimy mud and total destruction, that's when the real horror hit. Everything was clear, and it was awful. The crops? Gone, totally flattened and rotten. The fences? Splintered into a million pieces. The barn? Just a skeleton, practically falling apart. Their little farm, which used to at least keep them fed, was completely, utterly destroyed. The money problems just slammed into the family like a punch to the gut. Those quiet whispers in the cottage, they turned into loud, nasty arguments, full of bitterness. Ron's mom, Ilara, her usual frown just got deeper, turning into a permanent scowl, and her voice often shot up to a really high, screechy pitch. "What are we even going to do, Theron? Everything's gone. How are we supposed to eat? How are we going to live?" She sounded so desperate. And Theron, without his usual bossy attitude, would snap right back, his frustration just boiling over. "Do you honestly think I don't know that, Ilara? Do you really think I haven't tried? The bank won't give us another dime, and the harvest is totally ruined." Ron, Lyra, and KL would just try to make themselves tiny, hiding in corners, the tension in the air so thick you could practically cut it with a knife. Lyra often cried quietly to herself, while KL just got really moody and shut down. But for Ron, these arguments were just the same old blame game he always got, only now everyone was getting blamed, and it was like a poisonous cloud hanging over them all. He'd catch bits and pieces of their fights. "It's your fault for not making the dike stronger." "No, it's your fault for not saving more money." Any bit of family unity they had, which wasn't much to begin with, just completely shattered under all their shared bad luck. The final straw came one freezing evening, the air still heavy with that damp, decaying smell. Ron heard the words right through the thin walls of his tiny sleeping spot, words that cut through the night like sharp, jagged ice. "I just can't do this anymore, Theron," Ilara's voice, so cold and firm. This life, this mess, I'm leaving." There was this shocked silence, and then Theron's raw, guttural reply. "And where exactly are you going? What about the kids?" "Lyra and KL are coming with me," Ilara stated, her voice not wavering at all. "My sister in the next valley offered us a place. We can finally start fresh." Ron held his breath, his heart pounding like crazy. He waited for his name, for someone to mention him. But there was just this pause, a really long, heavy silence, filled only by the crackle of the dying fire. Then Theron's voice, tired and just giving up. And Ron? What about him? Another pause, even longer this time, filled with this chilling indifference. He's always been a difficult one, Theron. Ilara finally said, her voice softer, almost like she was just brushing him off. Maybe. Maybe he's old enough to figure things out on his own. He's resourceful, isn't he? Ron squeezed his eyes shut, tears stinging them. Resourceful? He was 10. He was just a kid. He felt this cold dread spreading through him, even colder than any floodwater. I can't take him, Ilara mumbled, his voice totally lacking any fight. I'll have nothing. I'll be leaving Morinak myself to find work in the mines. There's just no place for a child there, especially one who causes so much trouble. The words, even though they didn't say it directly, were crystal clear. Neither of them wanted him. He wasn't a son, not a child, but just a burden, a problem they wanted to get rid of.